Hey everyone, Pratik here, back again with another video. So this is a really special episode. Today I'll be talking to Busra, aka RV1 or 0. Busra is a Pentest Architect at Cobalt.io, creator of Hacking How To, offensive security researcher, seeded many certifications like OSCP, OSCE, and OSWP. So as a security researcher, I truly admire her work and I am obliged to have him with us today. Thanks to Integrity for sponsor this video. So Integrity is a European-based bug bounty platform. So if you are not from Europe, still you can hunt on that programs and earn some bounties in euros. So what are you waiting for? The link in the description. Go and sign up and earn some bounties. So without talking too much, let's get started. But first, let's roll the intro. So first of all, thanks for taking time out and joining me on my channel. And I am very honored to have you as my guest.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah. So my first question is, can you please tell us a bit about yourself and quick recap about your journey in pen testing?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Busra, aka R1 or 0. I am an offensive security researcher and a Pentest Architect at Cobalt.io. I'm in industry for more than 5 years and I hold OSCP, OSWP, and OSCE. I'm also doing Pentest at Cobalt and I have a full-time job at Cobalt. So basically there's like two components. I'm doing binary exploitation since I got my OSCE and I'm in love with it. It's like amazing for me. And how did I start it? I did double major back in college with math and computer engineering, and I was thinking that because of the curriculum, I was going to be a software developer. You know, it was all about programming, but I never liked it. It's like I had to do it because I learned it. I had a diploma, but I never wanted to be a software developer. So before I graduated, I was having an internship at a bank, and one of the IT guys one day said that let's order some snacks. Let me create some survey and let's order some snacks. I was saying, okay, there are like 20 people. Let's decide it. And when we see the results, we were shocked because one of the food got like 100 hits, and people were trying to understand what happened. And somebody said that, yeah, that's a security guy. He probably just hacked the survey. And everybody just laughed and continued their life. But it was like life-changing moment for me because I realized that there's an amazing opportunity for me to work on. Like, you can be a hacker, you can be a security guy who is so powerful behind screens. He was like the cool guy, always wears hoodies, but I think it was cool. Everybody laughed at this, but that was the moment that changed my life. So basically, I talked to him and I said that I'm going to be a hacker. I'm going to learn everything. So I started working as a pen tester and it all just came.
Yeah, it was a really great. So my second question is, what is your recon methodology and what automation you use for your recon?
So when I start doing pen tests, I go around the application to create a map in my head. You know, I'm also taking so much notes. Sublime is always on. I'm like taking constantly notes there. And in the beginning, I do subdomain enumeration. I'm using sublister and then doing some directory brute forcing because once I found the database passwords using directory brute forcing.
Yeah.
So never underestimate it. Using SQL map as an automated tool. SQL injection is my favorite vulnerability. When I see an SQL error, it just scots me. And of course, I'm using Burp. I'm using a Burp Pro license. So basically, I include so many scans with it than manual tests.
Directory brute forcing. So you like FWF or directory search? Which is your favorite?
Yeah, not in the same order, but you know, these are the first things that I'm doing.
Okay. So like what you look for the first bugs when you get target or an API endpoint?
Yeah, like a vulnerability you're asking? Yeah, my favorite vulnerability are SQL injections. So this is generally the first point that I'm looking, you know, how application handles input validation. So I'm checking for SQL injection and XSS in the first steps. So I'm trying to understand if there's any low-hanging fruit, how the application handles input validation and stuff. And after that, I'm checking for IDORs in the first days of the pen test, let's say, if there are like any easy points to check on, then I'm continuing with enumeration and all the vulnerabilities appears.
Okay. So I think you are basically follow some checklist like functionality wise, like in login, sign up or something.
Yeah, in a pen test, especially if you're doing at Cobalt, we're following OWASP SVS checklists. So basically, if you're doing validation, sensitization, you're checking for or injection vulnerability. So you don't need to do it in a like this pattern, but yeah, it helps.
Okay.
You don't forget checking anything. So.
Okay. So my next question is, how do you balance your time and what hobbies do you have?
So I'm a full-time nerd. I was always like that back in college, and I'm still like that. I'm almost 30, but I never changed. So I lose track of time so easily when I start working on something. So balance for me is if you're doing pen tests, jump into binary exploitation and doing another hacking,
Okay.
Balance is like this, or check something, some proof of concept from exploitive or something. I spend a lot of time on hacking. And besides that, I have a puppy. I'm living in Berlin. Berlin is a beautiful city, and my puppy is crazier than me. So we're spending a lot of time together. Besides that, if I'm nervous or angry, which happens sometimes, I do work out a lot and go running. It really helps. And do some paintings. It also gives me perspective. So,
Oh,
all
that's
this kind of
great.
stuff.
That's
Yeah,
great.
things.
Yeah, and I think I want to know one thing. What is the story behind your username? Are you 1 or 0? This is something inspired from Mr. Robot or something like
No, no.
that?
People ask me this multiple times, but like I said, I graduated from math, and as great mathematician John Ness said, I believe in numbers. I love numbers. So this is coming from more binary representation, like 1 or 0, and more of a motivation for me. Are you one? Are you perfect? Are you amazing? Are you powerful? Are you strong? Or are you 0? Are you a loser? Are you like lost something? Or this is some kind of motivation for me to follow whenever I see my username. So this comes from mathematical background and also binary representation plus motivation for me.
Okay. So can you please guide a beginner trying to get into this field? Any source of learning
Mhm.
processes?
Yeah. So you should start doing research, lots of research. What do you need it for? You need content. You need to read blog posts of other people's. What are they doing when they start an infosec? And there are amazing resources out there that you can read. First, start reading it. Then, after reading a file, you should jump in the second phase. Create your own path. Are you going to start doing web pen tests, or are you going to solve some CTFs? You need to name it first. Then start creating the learning path for yourself. Write down all the common vulnerabilities that you want to learn, like SQL injection, RCs, IDORs, LFIs, or whatever you want to learn. And write down all the resources that you can work on these. If you don't want to make it so broad, just write 2 to 3 resources for each of them. But you need to jump into learning each resources for each vulnerability. Then you will learn some stuff, and then you can do some like CTF solving, or you can jump into bug bounty or pen testing to see real life scenarios.
Okay. So any tips for the content discovery?
Well, you need to do subdomain enumeration. You would be surprised what kind of vulnerabilities you can find there. And there to brute forcing, like I said, once I found DB credentials there, it was really surprising for me. You need to do it with multiple word lists. Just don't trust one word list, and check GitHub, because there are sometimes web credentials coming from there. If there is, of course, GitHub page for the application, sometimes they don't. And don't forget that enumeration is the main phase, because all these vulnerabilities are common if you do a great enumeration. So then do your manual check, manual
Okay.
tests.
Yeah. Okay. So how did you hear about Cobalt and how to get into it?
Well, my current manager, Robert, he found me on LinkedIn and asked me, would you be a pen tester at our company? So I basically said yes and went over all the onboarding process. And I started working at Cobalt as a pen tester. I was freelancer and I was working at a consultancy back then. And I was a high performer for a long time, and they offered me a full-time job then. And there's a great thing at Cobalt. If you're working at Cobalt as a full-timer, you still have this freelance job. So I'm still doing Pentest, and I'm also working at Cobalt. So this is how it works.
Okay. So that's great. Like you are doing full time and freelancing also. But if someone wants to apply in Cobalt, can you please tell them
Mhm.
what is the procedure and what was the criteria? At least that do you have the candidate?
Yeah, there's a different team that's working on this. I'm not one of them, but just apply it on our website. We'd like
Okay.
to learn more about you.
Okay. Okay. So next video about your content. Next question is about your content creation. What was the motivation story behind starting in all-in-one series on YouTube?
Yeah. So, like I said, before working at Cobalt, I was working at consultancy. So it was super intense job, going to one client location, getting domain admin, and going to another one. It was really intense for me. So when I started working at Cobalt, I realized that this is a startup. It's more flexible. They allow you to work on your own projects and bring me new ideas. So basically, I wanted something intense at work, like coming from consultancy. And I talked to my manager, and he said that just come up with great ideas. We always support great ideas. So I contemplated like for weeks, and I come up with this. I have some knowledge. Of course, there are amazing people out there. I'm not saying that I'm perfect or something, but I have some knowledge, and I wanted to share it. And I love creating these videos. I created some videos before for my own YouTube channel. So what I've done basically is I break down all the categories that you can see for pen testing, like web, mobile, API, internal, external network, Kubernetes pen test, anything that you can think of. So I wrote them down, and I wrote down all the vulnerabilities that you can see. For web, what do you see? Like SQL injection, XSS, RC, business logic vulnerabilities, anything, or for API or mobile pen test. I named these first, then I said that, okay, in this week, I will start working on SQL injection. So what kind of scenarios you can see? Where can you look for SQL injection in a post request or in a get request or in a cookie value, all these kind of scenarios. So I'm a CTFer for years, for more than 5 years. So basically, I know where to check. So I started working on the most trusted resources such as Pentester Lab, Hack the Bugs, Perseverance Lab, all these kind of places. And I just find these scenarios. I solve these machines and I create the video. I merge them and voila, there's the video. And I'm also creating these blog posts. I'm creating like definition or remediation parts, generally coming from OWASP, SBS, or any other standard, because that's the perfect definition. So I'm generally like making them more smaller and creating the description part. And I'm also writing some cheat sheets. You can just check the blog post and copy paste some stuff while doing Pentest or bug bounty. So
Okay,
that's the story.
that's great. So, as you said, some business logic. So, can you give some few business logic bugs that you like to mention?
Yeah, I remember once I found this. It was a high severity vulnerability, and since then I'm always looking for it. I love checking API documentations because sometimes there are some functionalities in the API documentation that's not applied to the application, or maybe it's applied like years ago, but they forgot it there. So basically, just parse your own requests according to API documentation. And I'm not sure about the vulnerability, but I think it was resetting the admin password using the API documentation, and they removed it from the application, but they didn't remove it from the API documentation. So it was really cool. So yeah, that's my favorite.
Okay, great. You did many certification from offensive security like OSCP, OSCE, and OSWP. So, any tips and suggestion? Who wants to start for OSCP?
Yeah, I'm not saying that OSCP is so similar to CTF concept, but they're somehow similar. So if you don't know anything about in this field, just start learning how to solve CTFs. Just register for Hack the Bugs or any other platform that's the most trusted ones, and try to just solve this beginner level boxes. If you cannot solve it, if you have no idea, just check somebody's write-up. There are amazing write-ups out there, and try to understand what they are doing. How do they do the enumeration part, or how do they exploit it? Sometimes it's super easy. You can get the bugs in 3 minutes, like Metasploit and some automated tools. Voila, it's there. So try to understand it, because for a beginner, they don't know what Metasploit is. So of course, it's hard to understand. But try to read write-ups. Try to understand what others do. So the first advice that I can give is try to understand CTF methodologies. From there, when you feel confident, just get the lab and lose yourself.
Okay, you are really interested in exploit development and reverse engineering. So, is this compulsory to learn programming language to if you want to learn about reverse engineering?
Yeah, I'm writing my code, my scripts in Python, and yes, you need to learn some Python programming language, but you don't need to be a programmer to write exploits. You can learn it during the process. I mean, for instance, imagine a person that has no idea about OSCP and they got their OSCP at the end, right? Why? Because they learn all the process while they're trying to learn it. Same with exploit development. I was not a programmer in Python. I learned Java, C Sharp, and one more language. I even forgot what it is. So
Okay.
I'm not using any of them, but I learned Python from scratch while I'm writing exploits. I think I wrote like 60 exploits during OSCE preparation.
Oh my
That was
God.
really cool. Yeah.
Okay. So now like we jump into like the part of bug bounties. So you are doing in like full time on pen testing. So have you tried to bug bounties on your free time or something?
Yeah, when I first started, I did, but I was always finding duplicates. So when I get this offer from Cobalt, I'm doing full-time pen test now.
Okay. So like any like what is your like a first bug got tried and what is your first bounty?
Yeah, it was an LFI. I
Okay.
was so excited to see this test video file. So it was my first bug.
Okay. So what is the best things you have purchased with your like pen testing and from your earning?
A car. I bought
Okay.
my current car. It's a Mini Cooper, but it's not like with one bounty or something. I saved a lot of money to buy it.
Okay. Yeah. So which is the coolest swag you got till now?
I love all my hoodies. I'm a hoodie person. I
Okay.
think I can say that. They're all cool.
Yeah. Same. I also love hoodies. What are your favorite set of tools?
Tools. Burp is amazing because there's so many extensions in it, and I'm using like constantly Burp Scanner, Burp's extensions and stuff. But I think you're not asking for Burp, right? Because that's the like default answer for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. For subdomain enumeration, sublister is amazing. For director brute forcing, dear lister, yeah, and dear search, yeah, sorry. And there's also GoBuster that everybody is using. They're pretty
Yeah.
quick. SQL map, we have quite a lot of history with it. So many
Yeah.
SQL injections that we found together. So yeah, these are my favorites.
Okay. So can you please give some for beginner resources who helps in like in CTFs, bounties, or in pen testing also?
Yeah, Hack the Bugs, I think. Hack the Bugs is amazing.
Okay.
I solved
So
so many bugs and I'm still solving them. I was interested more in beginner boxes in the beginning because you don't know what you're doing. So I'm solving insane ones now.
so next question is like some kind of quick answer. What certification you like, ELAN versus offensive security?
OffSec without any hesitation because it's my
Okay.
type. It's just giving you a keyword, telling you that yeah, that's like one part of the whole story, and just search yourself. You need to do lots of research with OffSec certificates.
Okay. Try hack me, hack the box.
Hack the box.
So you watch movies or series? You watching?
Series.
Yeah. So any favorite hacking series you take the name? Have you watched?
Mm, I'm not sure, but I remember the movie Who Am I? It was really cool.
Okay.
Mr. Robot for series, but it's default answer for everybody. I can't find anything cooler. So
Okay. So thank you so much for this collaboration. And guys, Bushra is also making a videos on Cobalt.io YouTube channel. The series name is Hacking How To. So the link in the description, go and check it out. There are many cool vulnerabilities like SQL injection, CSRF, code analysis, SSRF, and it's like a 40 or 50 plus minutes video. You learn a lot. She is also like showing in like a hack the box and like it's a totally practical based video, not a theoretical. So go and check it out. I know you guys really like those videos, and she's also like written blogs on Medium. So the link, all the links in the description. Follow her on Twitter.
inviting me and for your nice words. Thank you.
And